In today's video, I'll be sharing with y'all how I paint my newest standard design, the Spot Goblin. Just like always, I'll show you every part from painting to finishing to hooking and everything in between. Make sure to like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this one. What's up guys, Tim here with Undead Baits, and today we are going to be painting some lures for a YouTuber that I follow. He's kind of small, channel size wise. He's on his way up there. But his name is actually Fishing with Smalls. I'm sure anybody who watches this, you guys might be familiar with his channel, but he's got a P.O. box, so I thought I would be, the homie and send him a couple lures, especially for spawning season. I'm not really trying to get clout or anything. I enjoy his content, and I wanted to, give him some lures. So one of them, we're going to be painting kind of like an orange and fire red crawfish, which is something I've done before. I don't think I have a video on it, but I will send up a picture right now of a lure pretty similar to that one. And then another one that I am going to paint pretty much just neon yellow and darker green, just because it is a spawn color, especially in colder water that'll typically, get the attention of any sluggish fish. That's pretty much it. Just like every other lure that we do, we're going to start with a base coat of white. Alright, so we have our first lure that we are going to start painting. I have the base coat of white put down on both of them, but we're setting that other one aside. The plan with this one is pretty simple. I have silver that we're going to do on the belly of this bait. And then we're going to cut up probably 3/4 of the way with this lime green pearlized. I don't actually have like a yellow color, but the contrast with this other green that I have is awesome, and I think it's going to look really cool. I'm also going to go in and kind of speckle towards the head of the bait with some pearlized black. So let's get into it. So something I have to do in between each coats of paint, especially when I'm transitioning between colors, is heat treating, which you guys just saw me use my heat gun. It is currently 30 degrees outside, and in my uninsulated, unheated garage, it is approximately 40 degrees. So we ended up having a pretty big snowstorm. When I say pretty big, I mean like 10 inches, which for me, being from the Northeast, isn't that much, but here in Southeast Virginia, it was like the 8th most snow fall that we've ever gotten down here. So I'm used to it, but got a heat treat. I'm going on with a second coat of pearlized gray. Alright, so I have the gun cleaned out. The good thing about the way that I typically try to work lures is start with the lighter colors and go to the darker, more prominent colors. So it kind of saves a little bit of time between having to clean the gun out real well. If I went from something like pearlized black immediately to silver, any bit of black that's left in the gun after, when I put the silver paint in, is going to be discolored. Like the silver is going to get discolored. So going from silver to pearlized lime isn't too big of a challenge, and then especially going from lime to green, dark green, is not going to be an issue either. So saves a little bit of time, and then obviously as soon as I'm done painting, with a similar color palette, I immediately sit down and clean the gun out real well. So that is something I'm going to have to do between moving from this bait to the red crawfish that I'm doing. So All right, lime green is done, and we are now going to move over to our pearlized green. We're gonna focus kind of on the back, just spraying down, getting a little bit of overspray to mix with this lime green down to about, what's that, like a third of the top of the bait. And then we're gonna focus kind of on going around the gill plates as well. I am gonna turn this pressure down on the gun pretty significantly to make sure that we're not putting paint where we don't want to. And then I also, again, called another audible. We're going to take white after we're done, and I'm then going to take this Wicked Crimson, and I'm actually gonna kind of hit the eyes a little bit so that way the eyes pop out, looks a little bit more aggressive, and then from there we're going to speckle with black. So, you know, calling audibles in the middle of painting, what could go wrong? All right, so now to get the eyes red, we're going to hit it with some opaque white. Again, just blasting a little bit around the eyes. And then we are going to move on to the Wicked Crimson. Now the reason you have to hit it with this opaque white is basically any color that doesn't specifically say opaque, it will blend with whatever color is on top of, or excuse me, whatever color is below it. So we need to hit it with opaque white so that way the red actually pops on the eyes. I'm actually shocked. Not gonna lie, I am shocked at how well that came out. That's the exact look that I was actually trying to get. The only thing is we are gonna take the dark green again and kind of hit it where there was a little bit of overspray. But considering, you know, I'm actually kind of speechless that it actually worked. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit this like the face again, touch up the dark green, and then we're gonna put some silvering, get the belly a little bit silver, more silver I should say, and then I will bring you back when I'm ready to actually speckle in some black. Alright, now I don't know if you're going to be able to tell on this camera. Alright, so if you can kind of see, anywhere there was dark green, I really tried to add that speckling, which looks pretty cool. I also think it's kind of cool that it bled over a little bit onto the lime green. But where it's definitely most prominent is on that dark pearlized green, which I think looks killer. So we are pretty much done with paint on this one. So I've decided to actually split this video up into two. We're going to do the next lure in a separate video, but for now I'm going to take you guys through the process of actually finishing this one up. So all that's left really is to print out the vinyl for my logo that goes on the bottom of the bait, and then we're going to plop some eyes in, hit it with a clear coat, and then we're going to UV resin on top of it. Alright, so the next step, we're going to be adding silver eyes. The eyes that I typically get are large pupilled, mostly because anytime I've ever caught a fish, especially a bass, they just have larger pupils. So I think especially with the red that we highlighted the eyes with, these silver and black eyes will pop really nicely. These are adhesive, however, to make sure that we don't have problems, I'll just dab a tiny bit of super glue on before we actually put the eye on. Here we go. I'm gonna go ahead and put the next one on, and then last step before we start clear coating will be stenciling. Alright, so what I have here is the little vinyl cutouts that I stick at the bottom of the lure, just with my name on it. I have a Cricut machine that I use to actually create these, and then all you do is just take the filler off, and then you put transfer tape down, and you kind of just go from there. If you guys are interested in seeing that, that is a video that I could absolutely do, because I use my Cricut for a bunch of different things for lures. We will hit it with a quick coat of diamond clear coat. Like I said before, this just helps keep the colors vibrant after I spray it. Helps keeps the eyes in and helps keep the vinyl stickers on the bottom from sliding out. I'm not really going too crazy heavy with it because again, this isn't the final coat of it, but you can tell already just by the shine of it, this bait looks awesome, and I'm very happy with how it's come out so far. So we gotta let this sit for between 15 to 20 minutes. Believe it or not, this stuff actually dries pretty quick even when it's cold out. So we're gonna let this dry, and then we will hit it with the UV resin. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we have our final clear coat coming up next. That diamond clear coat does a really nice job of especially protecting the clarity of the bill. The clear coat, the UV resin that I use is also really good, but I've liked the way that, you know, these have turned out, the way I do it. So down here you see we got the secret sauce. Now this next part can get a little hairy, mostly just because my jar is full up now. But basically all we're gonna do is we're gonna dunk, we're gonna move it over here, set it on this post that runs across my like hobby stand, and we're gonna just let it drip and drip and drip and drip and drip for a while, like probably 30-ish minutes. And at some point I might end up putting the heat gun on it just to get it to run a little bit more. But what we're making sure we're doing is getting rid of any excess UV resin, so that way it doesn't like bog down and create little dimples or anything else. So yeah, let's get right to it. So I'm dunking the back end. We'll flip it over. We'll dunk that front end. Really want to get all in there. All right. So now what I'll do, I'll also just let it kind of sit here for a second and drain. That way I'm not wasting, this resin. It is pretty expensive. Okay, there we go. It is pretty expensive, and I don't really like wasting things, especially because I don't really make that much money off this. As in, I don't make really any money off of it. So, do a little bit of that way. We'll let it collect, and then we'll let it drip down this way. Get a nice full coating on there. Now the biggest thing is making sure we don't get any material caught up in any of the eyelets, because if this hardens, it is very hard, and trying to get it off of any of the eyes or any of the connection points on the lure is close to impossible. So something else I'll typically do is I'll stick a little jig head in there just to hook through it, so that way the material doesn't collect. And when I say material, I mean UV resin. But we're getting there. All right. Now we're going to go back this way. We're going to stick our Bad Larry through. And now we wait. And we're going to let that sit for probably 30-ish minutes, making sure, all the excess material, excess UV resin gets off there. So, yeah. And periodically, again, like I said, I will take a jig head like this, and I'll take the hook and kind of stick the hook in, make sure we're not getting anything caught up in there. Alright, so we have it completely coated. I put hooks through all the eyelets to make sure that we're good. Last thing that's left, set it in our UV resin cure box, which is a cheap little thing I got from Amazon. It wasn't actually that cheap. But then I have it preset to 10 minutes. I hit on, and now we wait. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here we have our final cured and hardened clear coat bait. Looks awesome. Super happy with how it came out. The clear coat didn't dry too thick over the gill plates or anything, so there's still a little bit of texture on the side right here. And then, if you can see, our logo looks amazing. Again, nice and smooth over it. No raised bumps or edges or anything. This lure came out fantastic, and I'm very happy with the color and the design and everything else. So, last step before we can, package it and get it going is hooking, right? So I use Eagle Claw treble hooks on almost every one of the baits that I make, unless a customer specifically requests something else. They're just for bang for their buck, right? Treble hooks. I think they're great. See if it'll focus. So again, we got the silver on the bottom fading into lime green, dark green at the top. We hit it with some pearlized black to kind of help make it pop a little bit and give a little bit of texture and depth to the bait, which you can see real well right from here. And then we hit some red around the eyes to make the eyes really pop, especially with that silver and large black pupil. We got our logo down at the bottom. We've got size 4 treble hooks, and that's all she wrote. Now Now again, like I said, I have another one that I'm going to make, but I'm going to save it for the next video. I already have it prepped right here. This next lure that I'm making is going to be in a craw pattern, but we're sticking with some really dark reds, some lighter oranges, you know, kind of to make it pop really well, especially during spawn season. That bait's going to kill. There it is, our completed spawn goblin. If you guys like the name or have a suggestion for a different name, I'm all ears. I don't really tend to label colors or designs / name them, but I don't know why I just felt so, you know, gung-ho about spawn goblin. But I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. I think this is a standard design that I'm going to start doing. If you guys want them, let me know in the comments. Go ahead to my website, which will be listed down below in the description. You'll be able to order a customized lure however you want. There's order forms there. Yeah, that's about it. You guys do me a favor. I haven't really in a single video asked people to comment, subscribe, do all that normal YouTube nonsense. But I'm asking you guys to do it now. Support me, support this channel, support this hobby that I do, that I love. I don't do it because I want to make money off of it. I do it because every time I've handed a lure to a person, whether that be friend, family, customer, they are always super happy and super excited about the designs that I come up with. So that's kind of why I do it. This YouTube thing is something I've always wanted to do, and I feel like I have a hobby and designs and things just to share with people. So if you enjoyed it, please leave a like. If you like these kinds of videos, if you want to see more videos, please let me know down in the comments as well. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and make today the best day that you can.